Hey everyone, BlackCross here, and welcome to a particular discussion video that I've been wanting to bring up for quite some time. Now, this particular video is probably going to be one of those type of videos of where it could be favoritism, it could be bias, it could be because of the fact that I've had more fond memories with it. It could be any of the following, and the best part about this particular video is that I myself get to explain the situation of both sides. One could easily say that both games are equally good, but in the past few years, many people believe that one game is better than the other. And for some people, they feel as if that one game is more superior than its predecessor. Some people would even go as far as to say that the predecessor is better than the sequel at its end. But that's the biggest question, isn't it? Is that what defines the main game and what defines a sequel as what is better? I pose this question not only to set up the premise, but to also get started within the question that we will be discussing today. That's right everyone, I'm going to be talking about my special version of Sequelitis, in particular one that people have not discussed in, and that is within Kingdom Hearts 1 versus Kingdom Hearts 2. People are gonna hate me for this, aren't they? So let's keep in mind, Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in 2002. And for a lot of people, this particular game sparked up two different idealizations. The first one being that of the fans. And by fans, I mean fans of both genres. For starters, this game was developed by Squaresoft, the company that before they became Square Enix. They were responsible for making titles like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and so on. So naturally, Kingdom Hearts already had a following before it even got released because of it being within the Squaresoft brand. The second thing was that it was also in coordination with Disney. So you have two fans, you have the Squaresoft fans and then you have the Disney fans. And those who had never heard of Squaresoft soon would find out who they were and who they would become after playing through Kingdom Hearts. Now for them who weren't so fortunate to be fans of both sides, they looked at this game as though as if it was like, really? A game about Disney characters? I mean, I guess if they were Disney fans, so what would be the point of me playing it? Well, many fans would soon realize before they even got started that they actually got a hold of a gem within the PlayStation 2 that would surface to become one of the biggest highlights. That is until 4 years later Kingdom Hearts 2 finally surfaced. And for a lot of people, Kingdom Hearts 1 was the biggest title that got them into the series. And so when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, many more was eventually added on into it. And because of that, a lot of people believe that Kingdom Hearts 2 was by far the best game of the series. Now, in my personal opinion, there may be some people who have first started within Kingdom Hearts 1, and then there are some people who first started from Kingdom Hearts 2. This is understandable. Anytime you get a sequel that comes out, more fans swarm into the game, but they more go towards the sequel rather than its actual predecessor. But does that make the game better as the sequels go on? As it turns out, that's not always the case. Sometimes sequels tend to go beyond being better, and sometimes it ends up not being better at all, and instead misses a few margins here and there. That goes with saying with any sequel. In Kingdom Hearts 2 case, while indeed there were some improvements within the game, there are some that was added on there that made the game more diluted, as the word would be said precisely. So if you'll join with me within this special Sequelitis of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, I will be describing what made Kingdom Hearts 1 or Kingdom Hearts 2 better or worse. So first off, let's start with the story. The story within Kingdom Hearts 1 is fairly simple and paced out. You basically play as Sora, being that of the main character of Kingdom Hearts 1. He's joined in the island with Riku and Kairi, both of them living on the island for many years, and eventually they decide they want to leave the islands and journey into other worlds. The problem with that, however, eventually their world falls into darkness, separating the three friends. Sora meets up with some likable characters like Donald and Goofy, and they travel to different worlds visiting Disney characters and Disney villains alike. Along the way, as they defeat the Disney villains and seal the keyholes of the different worlds, they eventually come across a character by the name of Ansem, who, up until this point, was researching on the Heartless. As it turns out, he became master of the Heartless in order to try to take over Kingdom Hearts. In the end, Sora, Donald, and Goofy ends up sealing Kingdom Hearts, defeats Ansem, and saves Kairi as she returns home to her island, while Riku and the King is sealed behind Kingdom Hearts, leaving Donald, Goofy, and Sora walking towards their next epic adventure. So that's Kingdom Hearts 1 story. Fairly simple and fairly easy to understand. Kingdom Hearts 2 is where things get a little bit on the touch difficulty. Many fans will know that Kingdom Hearts 1 is the only Kingdom Hearts game to have the Squaresoft trademark under its belt, after which Square Enix was then transformed and all other remaining Kingdom Hearts titles would then be put within the Square Enix mark. That means that from Chain of Memories all the way up to its current name, known as Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, all games would be put under Square Enix. And therefore, Kingdom Hearts 2 was developed by Square Enix. Is this a good or a bad thing? It's a little bit of a mix, you could say. You see, Square Enix, still being within the trademark of Squaresoft, had its triumphant victory from making RPGs. They were responsible for making titles like Final Fantasy XII, Dragon Quest VIII, and then many other titles that fans would soon become aware of as the years go on. However, in Kingdom Hearts 2 story, there tends to be a little bit of a conflict in the story itself. For starters, you play as Roxas, who happens to be the nobody of Sora. This story would then be revealed later on, of course. When you finally do get to control Sora, the story unfolds itself that other than the Heartless, there is a new group of enemies known as the Nobodies. And the ones who control the Nobodies are known as Organization 13. As you progress through in each world, you then discover that the organization's main goal is to try to create their own Kingdom Hearts, in order to retrieve their own hearts. As a result, the organization ends up kidnapping Kairi in order to conflict against Sora. Later on, they find out that technically the leader of Organization 13 is being held by Xemnas, or as many people would recognize, Ansem, the Secret of Darkness Nobody, or in this case, Xehanort, being that of Ansem the Wise apprentice, who then not only took the project from Ansem, but then took the name as well. This became a problem within the story progression in Kingdom Hearts, as many fans got confused as the conflict continued. Eventually, towards the end, Sora does find a way to get into Organization 13 hideout. He then gets reunited with Kairi as well as Riku, defeats Xemnas about 3 or 4 times at this point, and they all return to their islands, waiting for their new adventure in many sequels and prequels that would lead on to this point. And now, many fans are now waiting patiently for the new title that would come out, being that of Kingdom Hearts 3, which is said to be released sometime in 2018. When? We don't know yet. Now, Kingdom Hearts 2 has a major problem within its story, being that it got very complicated. You see, Square Enix has a theme motto, and that is that if the story is complex enough, it makes it interesting. That's not always the case. However, due to the sequels and prequels, the story is now laid out completely for fans to analyze, and now the story makes more sense. Until you go to Dream Drop Distance, however. But minus that part, however, if you didn't know any of the other stories from the prequels and sequels that came out up to this point, Kingdom Hearts 2's story is very complicated, and it does leave some of the fans a bit more confused. I know it left me confused for a while, and for many others, it would definitely be the start of something that would be worrisome within the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Now let's get into the gameplay aspects of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Starters, Kingdom Hearts 1's gameplay mechanics, while be as simplistic, it makes it easier for any newcomer to jump into the series right off the bat. You have your obvious gameplay mechanics such as dodge, jump, attack, glide, and super glide. You also have several stuff to help you along the way. You have magic such as fire, cure, thunder, and blizzard, but then you also got advanced spells such as arrow, Gravity, and Stop. Arrow helps you in terms of defensive magic. Gravity basically sucks your opponents down to the ground, making it easier to attack them, and Stop stops your enemy for a temporal time. You also get to summon individual Disney characters, such as Simba, Genie, Dumbo, Bambi, Mushu, as well as Tinkerbell. These summons help the game make a little bit more interactive, not in terms of just the combat, but also as a deeper functionality for the Kingdom Hearts series in terms of Disney characters. In Kingdom Hearts 2 gameplay mechanic, it has the same concept, but with a bit more complexity, should we say. You have the same concepts such as the attack, dodge, jump, and glide stuff, but there are extra stuff added on into the game to make the game a little bit more spicy, as the phrase would be said. In terms of the individual abilities, you still get to summon your favorite Disney characters, and these summons have been improved to some degree. For example, Chicken Little pulls the enemies into a single group, allowing you to attack them easily. You then have God Mode Genie all of a sudden, where he uses the individual drive forms that you learn, and he helps you in terms of combat. Peter Pan allows you to do individual damage, but also helps in terms of gathering a majority of orbs. And Stitch helps restore your MP. And while that being said, the summons are good, but are they better? I guess one could say they are a little bit better. In some form of way, the majority of fans end up using Genie more because of his godlike power. Some of the other summons, they can be used in certain situations. You then of course have magic, such as your normal Fire, Blizzard, Thunder, and Cure, but you also have other magic, such as Reflect, which basically deflects your opponent's attack at them again in order to do massive damage. You then of course have Manic, which gathers your opponent in order to attack them easily from a close distance. But of course, with all that being said, the combat has improved from Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 2 combat, you get special abilities that allow you to do better combinations attacks as well as better move sets. Some of them can be increasive combo moves, some of them are special finishers that allows you to deal massive damage to your opponents. Another thing that should be said is that you get access to something called drive forms. There are 4 drive forms within Kingdom Hearts 2. There's Valor, which increases your overall combo ratio. You have Wisdom form that does massive magic ability damage. You then have Master form, which has a combination of both magic as well as physical attacks. And then you have the Final form, which is the most powerfulest form of them all. The nice thing about these drive forms is that if you're low on HP and MP, when you transform into one of these drive forms, you immediately restore back your MP and HP afterwards. These drive forms are not just simple advantages in combat. As you level them up, you get special abilities that help you in the game, such as Glide, High Jump, Aerial Dodge, and then of course the special occasions of Combo Plus as well as Air Combo Plus. So immediately you can see that in Kingdom Hearts 2 case, the combat has improved since Kingdom Hearts 1. So therefore, there's one point being that for Kingdom Hearts 2, that the combat is better than Kingdom Hearts 1. And that is obviously the reason why fans believe that Kingdom Hearts 2 is obviously better. Is it though? Not necessarily. As with most of the games, Kingdom Hearts is not just known for story and combat. No, it is known for many other additional content that brings onto the table. For starters, you have the main staple being that of the Gummy Ship. In Kingdom Hearts 1, the Gummy Ship was used to transport from one world to the next, obviously in order to survive the onslaught of heartless ships. This is fairly easy to construct, as it more or less takes in terms of a Lego/Minecraft piece in order to build your Gummy Ship. So basically, the Gummy Ship missions are more or less transportation machine that takes you from one world to the next. You don't get to actually interact majorly with the Gummy Ship mission, aside from building it in your own different way. So that's all good and all, but what about Kingdom Hearts 2 case of Gummy Ship missions? Well, obviously they're in Kingdom Hearts 2, but they're slightly different. For starters, the Gummy Ship missions actually have a mission mode to themselves. As you go from world to world, you are blockaded from a door. This door has to be unlocked one time with the Gummy Ship mission. Afterwards, you'll have access to 3 different missions entirely in order to progressively make the Gummy Ship a little bit better. And the Gummy Ship missions are actually an on-rail shooter, but more interactive compared to that of Kingdom Hearts 1. So the combat mode in Gummy Ships are actually improved in Kingdom Hearts 2. That's the good thing. The bad thing, however, is what comes during the part of the gummy ship missions themselves. Number 1, you don't purchase the gummy parts themselves. In Kingdom Hearts 1, you have access to actually attain parts when you destroy ships, but you also get to purchase said parts as well as upgraded blueprints from Sid in Traverse Town. In Kingdom Hearts 2 case, however, you don't necessarily buy them. You actually get rewards in order to customize your gummy ship a little bit better. And that can be the problem, is that you have to win the parts before you get the better ones. And while that's not a major issue, it is a backseat turnaround as to what Kingdom Hearts 1 had. Now, what about the customizations? Well, they're there, if you're able to customize anyway. See, the problem isn't so much how to navigate through the customizations, much less how to build your own gummy ship. No, that's not the problem. The main problem is this thing right here, being that a limit bar. Yes, a limit bar, because why would you build it any other way except for having limits? The point of creativity is having unlimited possibility, and having that limit bar basically restricts you of how well you create your gummy ship. Now, Record 1 can argue that technically this is to prevent you from making a badass gummy ship early on, and that's understandable. But if you're restricted from using certain parts early on because you haven't earned them yet, what's the point in having a limit bar? Much less having a limit in general. In Kingdom Hearts 1, you can customize your gummy ship however way you want to, so long as you have an upgraded blueprint in advance. In Kingdom Hearts 2 case, however, you can only customize your gummy ship so long as you have enough AP in order to equip it. This can be a problem. As you go further in, you realize that the only way you can upgrade that limit bar is by completing a particular gummy ship mission, followed by attaining the piece from either said enemy or from the scoreboard. This is unfortunate, as it reduces gummy ship missions entirely and it lowers the quality of how customization works. I can honestly say in Kingdom Hearts 1, I've enjoyed the customization aspects for the gummy ships themselves, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, I've enjoyed the combat mode in the gummy ships themselves. But that is the issue, unfortunately, is that the gummy ships aren't perfect in the Kingdom Hearts series, as one outweighs the other one in both games. In Kingdom Hearts 1, the customizations is better. In Kingdom Hearts 2, the missions themselves are actually better. Both of them are equally good, but both of them do have their flaws. Now let's go on to a certain particular subject, being that of the add-ons that is within Kingdom Hearts 2. Or, as most people will call it, me basically bitching about anything in particular regarding Kingdom Hearts 2 or Kingdom Hearts 1. In Kingdom Hearts 1, you have a special ability move, which allows you to use special moves such as Supersonic, Arkham Arms, Ragnarok, and Trinity Limit. These abilities are essential to use and help basically devastate either one opponent or many opponents out in the field. There is, however, a catch. As you use said ability, your toggle switch goes all the way up to attack position, and you have to scroll back down in order to do a continuous combo. This is an issue, however, which prevents you from actually being able to unleash massive combo damage and a finishing move that could have helped make the game play a little bit better. And this was unfortunate to be a delay within the gameplay mechanic. As for it being the first game in the series, no one thought of how to make the game simpler. It was just a matter of like, well, here's a cool idea we could use. In terms of execution, it was slightly poor design. This, however, was improved in Kingdom Hearts 2 because of the fact that you have the ability to use the triangle reaction command move that makes combo attacks a little bit better to activate. Now that being said, in Kingdom Hearts 2, the combat moves such as different limit forms, different limit abilities, combo attack moves, these things help make the game a little bit better. However, this was during the dawn of age where a trend that people hated in the day would then become a bane part of the Kingdom Hearts franchise, being that of the reaction command. Or, as most people like to call it, mashing the living hell out of that triangle button. Because you're going to be using that a lot in the game. Other than the set abilities themselves, you use the triangle command move a lot. You use it on various enemies' attacks, such as the Heartless or even a boss that you're fighting against. You're using it to open a treasure chest. You're using it to continue a combo move. You use it in order to activate an ability with your allies. You activate to summon. You activate to do a drive form. You activate to trigger an event. Basically, the triangle button gets used continuously, and instead of firing it up every once in a while in mid-combat, it is more or less of a situation command that comes up during combat or any form of matter, and unfortunately it just isn't that good. Well, I wouldn't say it was bad, but it's something that does get repetitive as you continue on in the game. And unfortunately, there was no way to oversee this particular thing, because eventually Kingdom Hearts 2 gameplay style would be a staple within other game franchises as well. However, other than the fact that the reaction command can be a little bit repetitive at times, you then also have other problems that surface within Kingdom Hearts 2. In the Kingdom Hearts 2 combat, the enemies do get defeated relatively easy. And thankfully the enemies do spawn in large ratio, making it a lot more difficult and a lot more challenging to fight them. There is, however, the boss fights. The boss fight has a single mechanic that prevents you from beating your enemies relatively easy. And that is that they cannot be beaten until a finishing combo is initiated, either by using a spell or continuously making a combo move until a finisher is activated. So you can see that the combat is a little bit diluted because of that feature, and obviously they wanted to make the game a little bit more interesting, because what's the point in actually hitting an opponent one attack at a time whenever a finishing move makes it more for an epic triumphant victory? And that's cool if you can hit the opponent with it, however, because sometimes the opponent can knock you back mid-combat, meaning that while you're initiating a combo before a finisher, the opponent has the ability to push you back to prevent you from using that finishing combo. So therefore, you had to initiate the combo again until you land a successful hit, or cast Thunder, because that works effectively as well. Another problem within the combat is that you have one particular thing that shows up all the time in this game. And unfortunately it became a staple within the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Why do we have the information box? That information box that shows up every single time you either enter in a new room or as you fight against enemies. This information box triggers and tells you what you need to do. It can be as simple as fighting the enemy, defeating a boss, or showing you, hey, this is what you need to do in order to get this done. Listen, I understand that technically Kingdom Hearts is made for kids. It has the rated E symbol, for crying out loud. However, the series has evolved since then. You would think that we would be done with the information box, or we would have the ability to remove it and that way we wouldn't have to see it. However, that has not changed. It has been a staple in the Kingdom Hearts series for years now. And unfortunately, it has made the game less exciting. In Kingdom Hearts 1 case, the point of the game was exploration. You explore the world, you explore how to beat an enemy, you use various different ideal weapons, magic, and so on in order to defeat your opponent. In Kingdom Hearts 2 case, however, it literally tells you what to do. Meaning that it tells you how to beat the enemy, it tells you what to do, it even tells you, hey, this is how you beat the boss. The problem with the information box is that it shows up all the time and that you can't turn it off, and it ruins the element of surprise of exploration. The point of a game is to explore the world. The point to battling is to experience the boss and how to beat it. If you lose to a boss, that's no big deal. You can fight it again and learn from your mistakes, and eventually get better. The information box, it basically spoils the fun. It tells you how to complete the objective. It tells you how to beat the boss. And the problem is that, what's the point then? If the information box is going to tell you what to do, then you're ruined of the surprise. Another thing that can be mentioned is the chests. The chests in Kingdom Hearts 2 have multiplied since Kingdom Hearts 1. They are everywhere in every world, and you have a guaranteed chance that you'll get a good item from them. However, you then have the bigger chests. These bigger chests have a ratio. there is a common item that you get to see when you open these chests. And that is, for every chest you open, you get a map. A map of the world. But more or less parts of the world. You're not given a full map, you're just given a map of a part of the world itself. And in Kingdom Hearts 2 case, why would you need the map? In Kingdom Hearts 1, it would make sense because the world looks so massive and large. In Kingdom Hearts 2 case, it looks like it's been shrunk. This is obviously because of the fact that more detail is added, as well as the fact that you technically get to visit the world twice. But the worlds feel smaller. Like literally, all of the worlds feel smaller. Even the ones that were technically in Kingdom Hearts 1 feel way smaller than they need to. Obviously, it's understandable because they have to add in an extra bit of content in order to make the game more fuller, but these worlds aren't as massive as what they were in Kingdom Hearts 1. There's no point in having the maps. In fact, the maps don't do anything except to show you the direction that you're going, followed by where you need to go. This wouldn't be a bad thing if you've technically already visited that world anyway, so therefore the map makes no sense. Listen, I have no problem discovering a map within a treasure chest. It's so long as that map shows me the items that I'm looking for. Think about it. The chests are basically part of the Jiminy's completion log, so therefore having a map would help in order to find all of those different hidden chests within the world. Do they? No, they don't. They have no contribution other than the fact that they're part of the Jiminy Journal entry log. They don't even show the enemies on screen. So what's the point in having these maps in chests? Wouldn't it be simpler to basically play through the first visit of that world, then after you beat that world, you get a map of that world that you visited, and then when you go for the second visit and you visit those new parts of the world, a map is upgraded into the fixture within those worlds that you visit a second time. And one of those chests within that world will contain one map, but it reveals the treasure map location of each individual world, making the completion log a little bit more interesting and all the more reason why you would want to hunt down these individual maps. Speaking of completion logs, that's the same that Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 have in common. They have a Jiminy Journal. The Jiminy Journal is a favorite among fans, or sometimes least favorite, depending on who you are. Personally for me, I like the Jiminy Journal completion entries. These are by far the most entertaining, and they keep the game going for a little bit longer than what they usually would be. In Kingdom Hearts 1 case, you can easily probably beat it within 6 or 7 hours. In Kingdom Hearts 2 case, you could probably beat it in 8 or 9. Because of the Jiminy entry logs, the gameplay increases to at least a total of either 20 to 30 hours, depending on how long it takes for you to complete them. So in Kingdom Hearts 1 case, you have the following items. You have the 99 Dalmatian puppies that you have to look for. You then also have the fact that you have trendy marks. You have certain events, like for example in Tarzan Worlds you have the tree trunk slides, Pooh's World, the Olympic Coliseum, and the individual cups themselves. And you also have the main staple of them all, being that of the character, story, and enemy entry logs. These of course will be filled out as you play through the game series. And in Kingdom Hearts 1 completion wise, there's not a lot there compared to Kingdom Hearts 2. You have your obvious staples that you see here and there, but then you also have the secret bosses as well as the Moogle shop that helps customize items that you could use in order to make the gameplay a little bit better, especially for when you go for the ultimate weapon. Now in Kingdom Hearts 2 case, however, the completion entry log goes a little bit more in depth in terms of completing the game. There are numerous of stuff to do in terms of completing it. For example, other than the fact you have the Olympic Coliseum and followed by Pooh's World, you also have smaller mini-games that are within each world. Usually there are 2 or 3 small mini-games that comprise within each world. You have the one mini-game that is simply done in the game, either that of in Halloween Town, you're in Santa's workshop and going through the toys gun shooting rail, or you have the skateboard. And speaking of skateboard, why is that there? Why do we have a skateboard in Kingdom Hearts? Later on in the game itself, you get better abilities that allows you to maneuver in the area a lot easier. Plus the worlds aren't that big anyway, as I've stated before. So what's the point in having the skateboard? There isn't. And speaking of completion log, there is of course one completion thing that a lot of people hate in terms of Kingdom Hearts 2, and that is being the Atlantica stage. I have nothing against the Atlantica world itself within Kingdom Hearts 1. I felt that within Kingdom Hearts 1's gameplay style, it works to its advantage. In Kingdom Hearts 2 gameplay, there is no combat, as instead it is a rhythm game. I am not kidding whenever I say this. It is nothing more than a button mashing rhythm game. And if that's not the worst case, other than going through it once in terms of story, you have to beat it a second time to confirm the Jiminy completion log. Of course, the Jiminy Journal also has the fact that you have maps, treasure chests, and the Moogle Synthesis Shop as part of the completion log. Now, there is something else to comprise from the original of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 in terms of completion, and that is the secret boss. Or lack of in Kingdom Hearts 2's case. Kingdom Hearts 1, you have a total of like 4 different secret bosses. 2 of them in the Olympic Coliseum being that of Ice Titan and Sephiroth. In Neverland, you have the Phantom at the Clock Tower, and in Agrabah, you have my personal favorite boss of all time, being that of Kirk Caesar. These bosses are fun and entertaining. In Kingdom Hearts 2, however, there's only one secret boss. And he's kind of a pansy too. Which is weird because Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 1 was pretty tough, but that was because the gameplay was tough on its own. In Kingdom Hearts 2 case, because of the improved gameplay mechanic, Sephiroth is easy to beat. Now record, Sephiroth's moves is a lot more agile and a lot more trickier to dodge from, but essentially if you're careful, beating Sephiroth isn't that hard. In Kingdom Hearts 1 case, regardless if you're level 99, regardless if you have the ultimate weapon, Sephiroth is still going to kick your ass at least a good 5 or 10 times before you are able to officially beat him. But wait, BlackCross, you're probably saying, what about the Final Mix versions? Well, obviously we here in the United States didn't get the Final Mix version until 10 years later. Seriously, what's weird about the Final Mix version is that there was a note within the first Kingdom Hearts 1.5 entry that basically stated that their only regret was that they didn't release the Final Mix version here in the United States. Why did you wait so long then? You could have released them then and there. Kingdom Hearts would not be the only game series that's had re-releases in the past. Seriously, in PlayStation 2, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Solid, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, they've been re-releases on the PlayStation 2 numerous times. Hell, Devil May Cry 3 had 2 releases technically. You have the original, and then Dante's Awakening, which is a special edition version of the original with extra content added onto it. So they could have easily released the Final Mix version for Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. But did they? No, they did not here in the United States. Japan was the only group of people who had it on there, and for years I was jealous of them because of what was surfaced on the internet. And boy, was I envious of them for years to come. But however, I'm no longer hateful about that, as now I finally have the Final Mix versions of 1 and 2, and I'm going to talk about them briefly. You see, in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, there has been some subtle improvements that help make the game a little bit better. For starters, there are those attack abilities that I've described about. You're no longer having to scroll downward in order to get the combo to continue, you now press the triangle button to initiate a continuous combo move, which is very nice. In the Synthesis Shop, you get new items in order to create better items, as well as secret heartlesses that you get to fight in order to attain these said items. You then have an extra secret boss known as Unknown, which everyone knows as to be Xemnas from Organization 13, that you get to fight within Hollow Bastion. And then of course there are the gummy ships. Yes, the gummy ship missions have improved. Or rather, they've been added on into Kingdom Hearts 1 finally. Are these gummy ship missions fun? They are actually. They're pretty cool. Basically, you go to the world 3 or 4 times depending on which world you're going to or traveling to, in order to get either a score, beat it with a certain item or a certain limit attachment to it, and this makes the game interesting. Kingdom Hearts 2, however, has a few extra bonuses, other than the fact that you have new items that you get to unlock, followed by the fact that the gummy ship missions actually have 1 or 2 extra missions in each world. You also have the fact that there are some extra stuff added onto it. For example, there is the black mushrooms. You then also have the fact that you get to fight the Organization 13 members that was in Chain of Memories. You now get to fight in Kingdom Hearts 2 style gameplay faction. There's also a puzzle minigame as you go throughout the Kingdom Hearts worlds themselves, collecting these pieces in order to complete said puzzle. You then also have the linear wheel boss fight that you can fight after you beat the game once, and boy, this guy sucks. You also have the fact that you have an extra drive form known as Lemon Form. There's also an extra difficulty within the game called Critical Mode. And finally, my personal favorite part of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix is that of the Cavern of Remembrance. Basically, it is a labyrinth where you fight harder versions of the Heartless as well as Nobodies in order to make it to the end. The end result is to go into this secret room which allows you to fight the data versions of all 13 members of Organization 13. These are harder. They are by far the most challenging parts at the end game. Their HP is larger. They attack harder. They're a lot more harder to face in terms of combat. This is the height of Kingdom Hearts 2 completion log, as this is the funnest part in the game. So, allow me to put in this perspective. In terms of Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 2 is better in terms of content. Because of the extra black mushrooms, you have the Organization 13 data boss fights, and yeah, it's just overall better to complete. But which is ultimately the better Kingdom Hearts game? Personally for me, in terms of the overall layout of how the game plays, Kingdom Hearts 2 is lackluster. It's basically like having a tea, but it's watered down so badly you can't even taste the texture of the tea itself. So in other words, Kingdom Hearts 1, in my personal opinion, is the better game. You see, there are some things that needs to be stated about why I chose Kingdom Hearts 1 as being a better game versus that of Kingdom Hearts 2. And it simply comes down to one word: simplistic. Yes, admittedly simplistic doesn't always mean it's going to be better, but for any fan who loves playing a game, they want something that's easy for them to jump into and get back out and get back in anytime without having to relearn the mechanics. And in Kingdom Hearts 1 case, it has those simplistic controls. So, in all honesty, that's why I would recommend anyone to play the first one. Because as the series goes on, it has that staple mechanic of Kingdom Hearts 2. But they won't understand what makes Kingdom Hearts so much better if you play the original one. Or if you prefer the Final Mix version within the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4. You choose. Now, the funny thing is, I basically make this video and I'm planning to have released it before E3. And here's my reason why. This video is to basically comprise an entry log for Square Enix to help them make the next entry of Kingdom Hearts games better. Kingdom Hearts 3 is already looking better, because it helps out by basically getting rid of the stuff that people didn't like from Kingdom Hearts entry series, and instead keeping the best parts of all of the series and putting them into one, meaning that the gameplay is better, followed by the overall concept has expanded and evolved. In fact, from what Square Enix has said, the Kingdom Hearts layout for Kingdom Hearts 3 is sort of reminiscent of the level interactivities within Kingdom Hearts 1. And this personally gets me excited. Now, I'm not saying that Kingdom Hearts 2 or any other Kingdom Hearts entry didn't have level interactions themselves, but like I said, because of that information box, it ruins it for everyone. Now that these worlds are more expansive in terms of overall build-up, now the worlds can be more interactive than they ever were before, and the combat itself is even improved as well. So honestly, I'm looking forward to what Kingdom Hearts 3 builds. But then what about after Kingdom Hearts 3? As they have said before, after Kingdom Hearts 3, the story will continue, but without the main villain himself. And while technically we only know of the Disney characters, they're also introducing the Pixar characters within Kingdom Hearts 3. So this is a good introduction to start an evolution within the Kingdom Hearts worlds. And who knows, in the future entries they could add in any other Disney property that they have owned it, such as Marvel and Star Wars, and even the Muppets for that matter. Wouldn't that be cool? Just don't add any Fox licensed characters. I cannot stress that enough. Please, don't. Just Don't do it. Just put it down. 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 Don't do it. Just don't do it. So hopefully this video basically gives you an ideal adjustment as to which Kingdom Hearts game is actually better in terms of how the gameplay layout works, followed by what the ideal general is in terms of how the game is built and what needs to be added and what needs to be taken away. Obviously this is what makes the game itself, and has already been written in stone, but this is more or less to help Square Enix make the next game even better without having all of these mundane stuff that reduces the game quality, and instead, with these helpful hints, it makes the game even better. Although I will say this much, Square Enix, if you plan to making a Dynasty Warrior Kingdom Hearts game, please do so. I would like that very much so. I mean, we've already seen it close hand that it's getting close to that point, so make Kingdom Hearts Dynasty Warriors or Kingdom Hearts Warriors. I don't care. I want that. I want that game. So at any rate though, thank you so much for your attention, and thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to let me know in the comments below of what you think of the Kingdom Hearts entry, which one is your favorite, what's your favorite mechanic within the Kingdom Hearts series, and why do you think Kingdom Hearts 2 is better than Kingdom Hearts 1? Other than the combat. I mean, that's the obvious. That's the obvious part. But at any rate though, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. This is BlackCross signing off. See you later, guys.